now you've done your preparation. You've built your story. Now the next thing is you telling your story.
Right. Yep. You got to tell the story, and we've talked about the basic types of marketing materials, the two-dimensional things, but now you think about, how do I reach that audience, right? The folks that you brainstormed about, who are the most likely buyer prospects. So there's all sorts of things to consider. There's print advertising, there's digital, all sorts of things, and even much more creative things as the price point goes up. But you want to think about what's going to have the best potential to reach the right audience, right? So even starting as basically as the price point, you mentioned $15 million benchmark, right? You are not going to advertise that in a space that doesn't reach an audience that has that level of wealth, right? It's super common sense. So anytime that you're considering advertising opportunities, you want to be really mindful of the readership, the audience, the demographic, the household income. And I'll give a great example of this. We had a beautiful waterfront property that we were marketing, and it was on a deep channel that we knew from the homeowner and the neighbors was fantastic for fishing, right? Saltwater fishing. And so I went to the bait shop and I asked the guys at the bait shop, and I was dressed for work that day. And so they thought it was kind of unusual that I was walking into the bait shop. And I said, so I'm thinking of advertising. I got a great waterfront property that's on that body of water over there. And they're like, oh, that's great, redfish, right? So they knew exactly what I was talking about. And I said, I want to know which of these magazines that you have here on the counter is more often read. And they said, well, of course, it's this one here, hands down. And I said, but that's the free one. It's not the one that's, $2.95. They said, yeah, but that's the one that has the best tide tables. And I was like, okay. So then I used that as a vehicle to market the property to somebody who would really enjoy the fishing, right? But I didn't continue institutionally advertising in that publication because the demographic was not right. Right. It worked for that one property at that property's price, but other properties, it would have, the audience was not in a high enough household income.
All right. So Tami, you have uncovered, right, something that I think is really important in this idea of marketing a luxury listing. And that is, I hear you in my head, right? This is the want market, not the need market.
Yep.
Okay. And so one of the things that is the big difference in my mind between what you like to call the bread and butter market, where those are people out there looking for homes and they're in the market to look for a home. This idea, when you get into the upper tier, these are people that are looking for something different, an upgrade. It's the upgrade market. This could be their third home. And so one of the that story you told is so absolutely perfect, and why you're so successful. It's because you don't rest on, oh, the buyer is already out there and he's looking on this website or that website. You're saying I could do demand creation because I have this unique and special home, versus what I call demand interception.
Yep. It's a perfect way to interpret that. Absolutely.
Yeah. And so in this market, and again, we're now in a very different place. We're in the place of what is going to make someone move.
Yep. Yep.
And so when you're doing the marketing and you're thinking about that, that's exactly right. Very specific to who would buy this house. So building the story. Okay. So you're telling the story in the right place.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so then let's think about to the right audience, right? So members of the Institute have access to an incredible tool called the We Prospecting through Wealth Engine. And that gives the opportunity to drill down to lists of individuals. Let's say, for example, in a feeder market that's not your own local buyer, to do direct mail campaigns to folks that have the right level of wealth and have expressed the interests, right? Mm-hmm. So using the waterfront for example, in my market, but really powerful tools. Those real estate professionals that aren't members of the Institute can certainly hire those things. They can pay
Sure.
to have those things developed, but it's an avenue, particularly as the price goes up. It's an avenue that most people don't consider, right? They, as you said, they wait for the buyer to show up. They're not
It's really
going out to
fascinating.
find the buyer.